Why off-market properties are the key to success. I'm going to share that insight with you today in this video. If you don't know who I am, well, I'm Jeremy Beland. I'm an expert acquiring off-market properties. I have done over 450 off-market transactions since I started my business back in 2017. I have built multiple million-dollar markets, and I have grossed over $10 million in gross profits since I started my business back in 2017. And today, I'm going to share with you why off-market deals have been the key to my success and why they're going to be the key to your success. So let's dive right in. Did you know that most investors are missing out on these deals? Most people don't know about off-market deals. Now, hopefully you watching this video, you do, but there are so many investors out there, they don't know about off-market deals or they don't know how to go find them. All they know is that if a property gets listed on the MLS, they go and try to place a bid and try to get that property under contract, and that's all they know. There's some wholesalers around this country that all they're doing is placing bids on properties that are listed on the MLS, trying to get them lower than the list price, and then trying to assign them. Some have some success with this, but only very few do. Most will never have success with this. And quite honestly, all the investors looking to buy rental properties and rehabs, fixer-uppers to flip, they're not doing a great job making a lot of profit buying stuff off the MLS either. Why? Because MLS isn't the greatest place to get your deals. So what is an off-market deal? Well, an off-market deal is just that. It's not listed on the MLS, the multiple listing service, right? A lot of us, when we think about real estate, that looks like, a property is brought to an agent or a brokerage, they list it on the MLS, and they list it for everybody to see, right? That's traditionally how most people buy and sell their homes. But these aren't really what you're looking for when it comes to real estate investing and or wholesaling. Off-market properties are just that. They're not on the market with a broker or realtor. Now, a realtor or broker may have the opportunity to find these properties, but doesn't mean they're listing it on the MLS. So typically what an off-market deal looks like is a motivated seller, a seller who owns the property that is motivated to sell for various reasons. Could be financial distress, the property could be distressed, there could be other things like maybe he needs to relocate and move, or they need to relocate and move. They inherited a property they don't want and they live far away. There's various reasons why sellers are motivated to sell properties. And what you can do as a wholesaler or real estate investor, a cash buyer, is you can find these properties and go directly to the seller. And you can put a purchase and sales agreement to buy their property directly with them. Meaning you don't need a real estate agent, you don't need a broker, you don't need anybody. You just need a contract between you and the motivated seller. And this is how I've made all my success, is by finding off-market deals just like this. And we do it all the time, and you can make so much money doing it. Why this topic matters? Well, because off-market properties generally, most of the time, almost always, are more profitable and they're more flexible, meaning the terms that you can do with them are just great, right? You can negotiate the price better. You can negotiate the terms. Do you want to close sooner? Do you want to close later? Do some kind of seller financing, maybe some other creative financing. Do they want to take a cash sale, right? There's all these different things that play into a factor. And a lot of times with these sellers, the money isn't the overwhelming reason why they're selling their property. They usually have a problem that you can solve as a wholesaler or a cash buyer, meaning you can provide value on top of the monetary value of the home. And this is critical because a lot of people don't list with a realtor or don't list with a broker because they need help with other things outside of just listing their house for a price. It could be they need help moving. Maybe their house is not in a position where it will sell very well. Maybe they're hoarders and they're embarrassed. Maybe they have family and friends and they don't want them to know that maybe they're going through some financial hardship and they kind of want to sell the house on the down low and relocate, right? There's all these various reasons. But this is where you can come in and provide a lot of great value and negotiate very flexible terms and negotiate a great price that works for you and the seller, rather than having maybe an agent or a broker in between you two trying to decide which is best for the client and which is best for you, and maybe inhibiting your ability to come to a great win-win solution here. So let's talk about the difference between off-market and on-market deals. Well, as I said, off-market properties are properties that you go directly to the seller. On-markets are properties that are on the MLS, multiple listing service, that are under contract with a real estate agent and or a brokerage. Now, there's many different options here, but the biggest thing that I would tell you is that there's a lot less competition with off-market deals. Listen, I'm not saying there won't be competition. You may find a motivated seller with a distressed property, and there may be multiple people looking at that property or trying to compete for that property. But you know what happens when you put a house on the MLS? Like the whole world, the whole country, the whole state, everybody sees it, right? And that creates a very different situation. But only a small handful of those are spending effort, money, resources, and time to go find these off-market properties. A majority of them are waiting for people to bring them those opportunities, or the vast majority are people trying to find them on the MLS. So let's just say this fixer-upper house goes on the market in the MLS, right? A realtor goes out and finds this person. They decided to relocate. They want to sell the property for highest and best dollar. Isn't usually a good sign for you, because if money is a motivating factor, typically they're not the great fit for us as cash buyers or wholesalers. So this house, an agent is put on the MLS. Let's just say house is cleaned out and ready to go, but it obviously needs a lot of work. It looks like it needs a roof, but it's all cosmetic, right? Maybe the roof is old, needs a new kitchen, the flooring, the paint on the inside is all just kind of old. You know, it's definitely something somebody would want to buy and renovate. Well, now you put it on the MLS, and every agent, every broker, every cash buyer who's on the MLS, and believe me, there's not just hundreds, there's probably thousands just in your area that are getting alerts as soon as this house goes on the market. And what that happens is then everybody rushes to that house as quickly as possible. And they're not going to just be able to say, I'll buy it in 30 days cash. And the agent and broker are going to be like, okay, sure. You're the first one to call us. The deal's yours. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way at all. They say, well, there's multiple people, actually dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of people interested in this property, and we are going to take the highest and best offer. So if you want this property, better pay up, right? So puts you in a situation where you're competing against everybody else for highest and best. And when you start to spend more, you make less. And sometimes you can overspend on these properties and not really make much of anything, which is terrible. And if you're a wholesaler compared to a cash buyer who's actually going to close, you're seriously at a disadvantage then, because there's definitely going to be no meat on the bones for you to sign this to another cash buyer after that. So it gets very, very difficult to do that. So it becomes a bidding war, which is why I love to sell my properties on the MLS, but not buy them on the MLS. But if you're going to off market, yes, there may be other wholesalers and investors competing for the same property as you. That happens, and it happens a lot. But guess what also happens a lot? Many of the people you're talking to are not talking to any other investors or wholesalers at all. You're the only person. And again, of course, they want to get as much money for the property as possible. Everybody does. But that isn't the overlying major issue for them. It isn't all about the money. It's all about the other aspects of value you can bring on top of that monetary value, which allows you to get the price much lower because you're providing more value of other things that they need help with. And again, maybe it's moving, maybe it's packing, maybe it's help finding a new location, maybe it's leaving everything behind, right? There could be various reasons where you can bring in tons of value and get the house at a deep discount. It's what I do in my businesses all the time. And I don't have to worry about really competing and just spending more to get the deal done. So when you're going with off market as opposed to on market, typically on market, you're not really flexible with the kind of terms you can do. Can I close in 30 days? Can I close in 10? Can I close in 60, right? Is there seller financing? Can I take this over sub 2? Will the owner carry a note? Sometimes this happens, sometimes it doesn't. Will the owner take second position and put down 20%, right? So I can finance the other 80% or get a private lender or a hard money lender for the other 80%. I don't want to bore you with all these details. The point is that you have a lot less flexibility when you're competing with a bunch of people on the MLS. But when you go off market, it's a very, very different story, right? So this is where, maybe the people own it free and clear, and they don't really need the money right now. They need help, and they don't really want to sell it because they're worried about maybe the tax implications. And for them, them putting a mortgage in their name for 10 years while you take on the property and maybe deal with the tenant or not the tenant is much more advantageous to them. Maybe it's not about how much money they're going to make, but them not having to pay Uncle Sam that much money, right? Or maybe they just want to close in 5 days. Maybe they want to live there after they close for 30 to 60 days and do a lease carryback. Yes, a lease carryback where you can basically let them stay there rent-free until they find the next place or the next place is ready, right? There's all this flexibility because you can do whatever you want. That's the magic of off-market. What is the seller's needs? What are their problems? What are the solutions you can bring? And then you can basically customize a tailored solution specifically designed to help them in their situation in exchange for equity in their home. And then you can turn that equity into any kind of revenue source you want. Amazing, right? You can't do that on the MLS, but we do this all the time off market. So, Jeremy, how do we find all these amazing off-market deals? Well, they're not as hard as you think. Actually, finding them is pretty simple. Now, getting them isn't necessarily easy. Getting them on the MLS is easy as long as you want to be the highest bidder and spend more than everybody else. Let me know how much money you make doing that. But getting them off market requires a lot of effort and it requires marketing. It's a simple process, but it's not easy. But nothing good in life usually is easy, right? I know we all want to just make millions of dollars the easiest way possible. Although wholesaling and flipping houses or buying houses off market is pretty easy compared to brain surgery, being a roofer in the winter and summer, being a mason, things of that nature. But it's still a hard thing to achieve. But there's a lot of different marketing channels that will help you find these off-market properties. So your goal is to create marketing channels and lead sources to find these needles in a haystack. Now, I say needles in a haystack because you're probably going to have to talk to a lot of different houses and reach out to a lot of houses and talk to a lot of different people to find motivated sellers, because not everybody is, and that's okay. But know what's cool about these needles in a haystack? There's so freaking many of them. It's like a conveyor belt, right? They just keep pumping out opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. There's so many of them just in your neck of the woods. You could literally go and buy 100, 200 houses in this calendar year, which I'm recording this in 2025. In 2025, let's just say you bought 100 houses around your area, and then a bunch of investors bought another 100 houses around your area. There's 200 houses that got bought and sold through off-market with real estate investors or wholesalers. You know what? There's still a whole bunch, if not double, triple, quadruple that number that fit that avatar of a motivated seller that just wasn't contacted yet or the timing wasn't right. So there is so much opportunity. The reason why I've done 450 deals isn't because I'm all across America. I'm only in a couple of different markets, but I am getting my big piece of the pie in those markets. But so is everybody else. There's plenty to go around for everybody. That isn't the case on the MLS. But it is the case on off market. Okay, so let's talk about the marketing channels to find these off market properties. That's basically what it's going to come down to. You're going to have to put marketing systems in place to find these opportunities. And it's okay. That's what it is. We're going to go out and find them through different marketing channels. It's not that hard. Some cost money, some don't cost a lot of money. I will tell you this, the more money you spend, typically on a marketing channel, the easier it is and the more motivated the lead is, generally. The less money it is, the more time and effort it's going to take to compensate for the less of the cost, okay? So you have to put in marketing channels, and If you check out some of the other episodes in my YouTube channel here, you'll find I talk a lot about, in depth, about all the different marketing channels, but we'll give you a brief overview of some of them today. Direct mail. Direct mail, yeah, easy. Go and pull a list from PropStream, PropWire, a bunch of other resources where you can pull a list of absentee owners, vacant houses, pre-foreclosures, tax liens, tax delinquencies, right? You can pull lists like that. You can also do it at the local level. You can go to your code enforcement office and get a list of open violations. You can go to the tax collector's office and get a list of tax delinquent properties. You can go to the courthouse and get a list of probate properties or eviction properties that have been just filed for eviction. Go to the water departments and get a water shut-off notice of all a list of all the properties with the water shut off, right? So there's all these different things, and you can do direct mail. Write up a letter or a postcard. There's plenty of companies that do this, or do it yourself. Hey, my name's Jeremy. I'm a local house buyer. I'm wondering, would you be interested on a cash offer as is for your property at 123 Main Street, right? Or something along those lines. You can do that. Easily do that. You know, driving for dollars is a popular one. It's not really my favorite one, but it's definitely a popular one where you just drive around neighborhoods and you can just find distressed properties, and then you can even leave a note on the door, post-it note, right? Or sticker or doorknob flyer. It just says, hey, I buy houses as is in any condition, with a phone number on it. You can do that, or you could drive around, you can knock on their door. Door knocking is a way to do it. Driving for dollars, you can direct mail them, or you could text message them or cold call them. And let's talk about cold calling. You can cold call a driving dollars for lists, or you can just pull those lists from, the code enforcement and tax delinquency, or, PropStream, and all these various sources for pulling lists. You can skip trace them, which is a service that will provide you the phone numbers associated with that address. They'll give you a list of phone numbers that they find online through their database and the interwebs. And then you can call those and have a script and just kind of go and be like, hey, my name is Jeremy. I'm looking to buy a property in your area. Just reaching out to you out of the blue to see if you would consider a fair cash offer on your property or a variation thereof. That's all it takes. Or you can send a text message, an SMS message. You can even do ringless voicemails. Yeah, there's companies like Sly Broadcast that we use that will send messages and as a pre-recorded message. Hey, this is Jeremy. I'm just reaching out to you to see if you'd be interested in an as-is cash offer on your property at 123 Main Street. If you're interested, please call me or text me back at this number. That's it, right? So there's ringless voicemail, there's text messaging, there's cold calling, and there's direct mail. Now, those are typically your lower cost marketing channels, but they work great. But because they're cold outreach, you're going to have to talk to a lot of people before you find a motivated seller, especially somebody who's motivated to sell right now. But you will talk to a lot of people who are motivated, but they don't want to sell right now. They're going to want to sell down the road. It's your job to keep them in your database, keep them in your follow-up, do a good job following up with them, and you'll make hundreds of thousands of dollars once those people are ready to close and the timing is right. Handful of other marketing channels, a little bit more expensive. These are what I would consider more for the savvy wholesaler or investor that's been doing this for a while and has a lot of experience talking to sellers and negotiating with sellers. But you have radio ads, TV ads, billboards, pay-per-click, which is Google pay-per-click ads. You can do Bing pay-per-click ads. You can do Facebook social media ads, YouTube ads. You could do pay-per-lead sources. Those are pretty good as well. There's bandit signs. Those are typically not as effective anymore, but that's an option. So there's all these different marketing channels you can do, and it's really not that hard. All you have to do is just get a list, find a marketing source that works best for you, set up the marketing, generate the leads, talk to the leads, qualify the leads, and that's how you find your great off-market deals. And one other thing, agents. Yes, I know I talked about agents being on the MLS with the brokers, but there's a lot of agents that love working with investors and come across properties all the time off market. They're called pocket listings. If you build some good relationships with a lot of investor-friendly agents in your area, these could be some of your best resources for leads because they're out and about in their sphere and their marketing will bring these deals that a lot of us don't find. And if you are their go-to wholesaler or buyer and you can make sure that they're going to make money bringing the property to you, and bonus, they can make money after you buy and sell the property on the back end, they'll be your best friend and they'll bring you all kinds of deals because it's in their best interest not to list it on the MLS because they can get paid from you in the front end. And then after you flip the property, they can get paid on the back end. I love real estate agents bringing me leads. Let's debunk a myth right now. Off-market leads are harder to come by. Off-market properties are harder to come by than MLS properties. Well, I don't agree with that, right? Are they harder to find? Yes, because I can't just go on my laptop and pull up a thing. But there's not a lot of competition there, right? And do you want to be the highest bidder or do you want to get the best opportunity? So yes, they're a little harder to come by, but they are much easier than you think if you have good systems in place. Again, watch other episodes that I have here on my YouTube channel where I talk about how to pull these lists, how to use these marketing channels, how to talk to sellers. Once you get these systems in place and get really good at them, they're not that hard. This is why I do multiple deals every single month in my different markets because we have these systems dialed in. I can't scale a business or probably even make a really good lifestyle real estate investing by hoping to be the highest bidder on the MLS on a regular basis because I just don't know if I'm ever going to get the deal. It's too tough to come by. Myth 2, another myth that I hear is MLS deals are just better. I don't agree. Could you find an MLS deal where there's no tenants in place, it's vacant, and it's all cleaned out, you don't have to worry about any kind of debris? Yeah, I guess that makes it better on that aspect, but not if you have to be the highest bidder by far and there's really no meat on the bone to do anything with it. That doesn't make it better. So, off-market properties allow you to have a lot more flexibility, different financing terms, and just allow you to tailor a solution that's best for you and the seller, where it's very challenging to do that on the MLS. Well, that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you found it informative. I hope you found it helpful. Listen, I have 6 months of content here on my YouTube channel. 6 months of content from somebody who's done over 450 off-market deals here in the last 8 years. There's a ton of value in my YouTube channel for you to learn from and to start implementing into your business right away so you can make more money. So if you're just doing a few deals a year and you want to get to dozens of deals a year, like multiple dozens of deals a year, well, then I recommend that you subscribe to this channel. Give it a thumbs up, bro. I could use the love, and it'll help feed the algorithm so other people can learn about my YouTube channel. And hopefully when they find this YouTube channel, they can bring value into what their goals are with off-market acquisitions and wholesaling real estate investing. All right, so please like, subscribe, show me some love. And guys, at the end of the day, if you want to get serious about wanting to do this, you want to learn from this guy, well, click on the link below and you can set up a free, no obligation phone call with me and we can see, are you a fit to join our community where I can personally work with you and help you do this on a regular basis? Or can I help lead you in the right direction that's best fit for you? Thanks for watching today. Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.